Well, how's it going, everybody? I don't know if anybody is here yet, and I don't know if anyone's actually going to show up to this today, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm going to save it and you can watch it in post. And if there's something that you want to share or thoughts you have, put them in the comments below. If you're here live during the live stream, you can put them in the chat. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so if I'm a little bit sniffly or you hear a little bit more breathing than normal, it's because I'm getting over a upper respiratory thing. So I'm sorry about that in advance if those sorts of noises drive you crazy. But I have a little bit of a sniffly nose, so I'll do my best. So I was going through some stacks of papers today, like I tend to do. Uh, my filing system's awful. It's basically set up right now where I have to move a bunch of stuff to get to what I need to get to, and then the stuff that I move to get to the stuff I need to get to is now in the way. And so about once a week, I just sort of go through everything and put it back in its place, or try to, until I come up with a better system. But all this to say, as I was going through the stack, I found a piece of paper that I had written with Sharpie marker on. I had a thought, and I think it was from a set of juries from a couple of semesters ago here at University of Alabama. And um, the thing that I wrote was familiarity allows for safety and safety allows for depth. And I want to unpack that statement and what it means. So, if this was from jury performances, this means that it was inspired by the performance of a brass playing student here at the university. It doesn't necessarily mean that they played poorly, but it means that maybe there was a question about their comfort level or their sense of confidence in their performance. And I wanted to provide some sort of feedback in the moment, some little nugget that they could take with them either into the winter break in December or the summer break. Because, in my opinion, those are the times when we really grow. Those are the times when we have fewer responsibilities related to school, less repertoire to work on, more time to work on things on a conceptual level. So I offered them a little nugget, and then it ended up on a stack of papers, and I lost it for months. But let's unpack what this means. The first part, familiarity allows for safety. The better that I know a piece of music, the less nervous I'm going to be. The better I know a piece of music, the more confident I'm going to be in my ability to play every note on the page, every rhythm on the page, every dynamic, every ornament, know all the words, all the translations if they're written in another language, all the tempo changes, all the stylistic changes and transitions. I feel more and more comfortable with the piece. If it has clef changes or it's written in a meter that's odd for me, the more that I play it, the better I feel about it. And therefore, the better performance it's going to be. And most people stop there. And there's nothing wrong with stopping there, but I encourage you to take it to the next level because we have safety that comes about through familiarity. We can also have the depth of our interpretation that comes about from safety. The better that I know the piece of music, the fewer finger busters that might exist after I've worked everything out and I can play everything on the page. Now I know the piece well enough that I can start infusing my own musical experience to inform my interpretation of the music that I'm playing. And a lot of people, a lot of students in particular, stop at what their teachers tell them to do. Play the Haydn this way, play the Tomasi this way. And yes, there is sort of an acceptable range. I call it the range of marketability, where if you play it some weird, wild, crazy way that no one's ever heard before, you might get some cross eyed looks from people and it may not go your way. But there are tiny little magical moments in the music that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to really dig into. And that's a shame if we find ourselves in that spot. So I would encourage you to live with the piece long enough where you can find those little magical moments and you know the music well enough that you can play with it in little ways to make it your own. Now, that's not even the main point of me coming on here and doing this talk. The main point is that we can apply this same phrase to our fundamental work. And when I'm talking about fundamentals, I'm talking about books like Arbon, Bylin lip flexibilities, Charles Colin lip flexibilities, the Irons studies, any book, Schlossberg, any book that's fundamental based. We have a tendency in a lot of higher education brass studios to say, okay, you played this drill for me, check the box, move on to the next one. I'm of the opinion the longer that I do this, the older that I am, the more experience that I gain through the years, that if we're not revisiting the basic things on a regular basis, a consistent basis, and I'm talking about regularly consistent, like on the weekly, that it's really, really hard to build consistency in your playing when the exercise always changes. There's no reason for the Arbin da 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 da. That should probably never leave the rotation. Now we can go through that whole section, but we should be working out of that section on the regular. Da 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 da. Should be working on that section on the regular. How else am I going to gauge my level of consistency unless I have a product to know if it's consistent? If I'm making widgets on a factory assembly line, I need to know that I'm making the widgets the same way. Or as I think it was Chickowitz who used to say, time to go make the donuts. You make the donuts the same size, the same consistent batter. You fry them at the same temperature. You make them as consistent as you can day to day to day. Now, he was probably talking more about whole notes, but you know what I mean. The concept is the same. But if the exercise is always changing key, changing style, changing velocity, changing any number of things, it's hard to develop consistency. However, if I play the same drill every week or 3 times a week for 15 years, then I know that I can do that thing really well. And I can apply that in any piece of music that has a similar sort of skill. And if I do that with a bunch of different fundamental type things, then over time, I can have a really strong confidence base in my playing because I know I can do all of these simple things really well. So while it's great to be able to play Charlier, whatever, Maxted, high register studies, whatever, that's fine. But can you go back and play the very basic things with a clean articulation, consistent, steady body of sound, a good release, no slop between the notes, in tune, in time, great sound, great style? Can you do that? Because that work is going to get you hired back. The loud, big, flashy, crazy stuff will get you hired once. But if you're playing a Brahms symphony and you have to come in on, then no one's going to care about how much of this you can do. They're only going to care about your ability to at pianissimo. Just something to think about as you're working on becoming you as a musician and growing into these roles. It's not just an acquisition of new skills. It's a constant sharpening, honing, maintenance of the skills that you already have. Don't go so far out on the plank that the board starts to bend. I mean, you go out there from time to time, but make sure that you're still inspecting that section of board that you've already walked on, because that's the part that's going to keep you safe. That's the part that's going to take care of you when you need it. Just some thoughts on this sort of beautiful Saturday morning, or I guess at this point it's afternoon. I've been listening to auditions today, just sort of enjoying early spring in Alabama, and thought I'd come on here for a minute and share these thoughts. And I want to thank Michael Swan for hopping on here for just a second. It's good to see you here, buddy. I don't know how many of these I'm going to do. It's a new place. Obviously, I do most of my stuff on Facebook, but I actually like the idea of separating it a little bit and sort of building the audience up here. I have some subscribers here on YouTube, I'd like it to be bigger. I'd like there to be more of them. And this is a way that I know that you can do that. You can help with your viewing hours and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of an ulterior personal motive. I want to get the information out, but I also want to build an audience here, because this is ultimately where I'd like to be doing this stuff. Because frankly, the more that you do on Facebook or Instagram, the more you have to deal with um, the other parts of those platforms, the other conversations that are on those platforms, and I grow increasingly tired of that over time. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope you got something from it. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. I'm pretty good about going through and checking those. Um, yeah. So we'll do this again sometime. I'll talk to you later.